Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Matt the Tutor. Uh, Today we're going to be learning on how to make classes. Now normally you learn about integers, doubles, how to make strings and stuff like that. But I think it's also very important to be able to create classes. Now from my first tutorial, Hello World, I may have briefly explained what classes were. And in Java, you're constantly making classes. So as you can see here in just a photo that I have many packages and many classes. Game, screen, key input. All of these are very important in Java. They allow you to add multiple functionalities and make multiple objects. Later on in the tutorial, I'll explain what objects are. But I need to create classes to be able to explain it. So you'll be able to make objects, and those objects will have a lot of properties that will help you throughout your programming career if you are going into that. So let's get started by making a new project, Java application. Project name, class making. So create main class. Yes, we want to make a main class. So don't need that, and we can keep that. So obviously you have a public static void main. So let's make a new class. So what you do is, this thing is called package. A package holds a lot of classes. Before they will make a source, they will make the class and then source package and then no packages, and then you'll just have your classes. Now it's very important to have different classes and different packages. The reason is that some classes are very important, and packages are basically just it's like a file where you name different files, different things to be able to differentiate between what does what. So normally, if you're just working on one project like we are today, you only have one. So that's what a package is. So let's get started on making a class. So let's make a new a new file type, Java class. So let's click next. Class name, let's call this character. Let's say we're making, I don't know, an RPG, or we're making, I don't know, movies or something. So let's finish that. Now notice that when you make a class, there's no main method, because the main method is ran here. It will always be ran. It's like a specific thing. When you have public static void main, the compiler knows, okay, let's look for the main function, main method, sorry, and everything inside it will be executed. So in character, you have this thing called constructors, which when you make your object or your class, when you make an object that has the properties of this class, so let's say you have a character named Joe, you're going to have character Joe equals new character. So if you were to say logically, I'm gonna make a new character named Joe. So in your constructor, let's say you have, and this is how you make a constructor, public character parentheses and your curly braces. Now this is a constructor that has no arguments. So when you make your character Joe, Tom, whatever, those are just placeholders. They're not really Joe or Tom. So to be able to make each object unique, let's add some parameters here, where when you make your object, you have to put in certain parameters, so that way you can add distinguished features. So let's first do this. So up here, right under your public class characters, you can put in initial variables or instance variables, where that character or object has unique properties to itself. So let's say we want the character to have a specific name. So let's do this. Public string name, and then we'll end it with a semicolon. You must always end, not always. In certain cases, you do need to end semicolons, and for the most part, you're going to need to end many statements with semicolons. If you're creating something, such as a public class, you end it with curly braces, and then you have everything within it. So with public string name, now public, I will get on to that maybe in the next tutorial when I cover probably what this public, private, and probably public and private methods. But later on, I will cover that. In this tutorial, I'll just be teaching creating classes. So let's say we want a name. Makes sense. You want to add a name to your character. Let's say you want to add his or her age. So age. Now string, it creates a string of characters, like A, B, C, D, E, and so on and so forth, is called a string. An int or an integer, if you have taken any math, I'm pretty sure the lowest math that you'll need to know what an integer is algebra. You need to create an integer. An integer is a whole number from 1 to whatever number Java can hold. I know many tutorials tell you what the max number is, but I'm pretty sure that you won't need to know what the max number is. I don't know it, and I've been fine since then. So public integer age, and let's say where he's from, or her, where she's from. So public int, not an int, string country. So now we have created 3 public variables. Now what public does is, when in your main method, when you create this object, you'll be able to have access to these names directly. Now, just a tip for the future, or a little insight for the future, when you create, the reason why you have methods that have get name, set name, I'll cover that later in this tutorial, is because these variables are private, meaning that classes cannot access them directly. That's why you have to get name, just so that way you can't edit these parameters directly. So for public character, let's put in the instance variables, or the parameters in which, to be able to create this object, you need to create be able to create this rewind. To be able to create this character, you need to have these parameters in order. So let's do string name, int age, and string country. Now you might be wondering, well, let's ask that question later. So this dot name equals name, and I'll explain what this is after this. This dot country equals country. So very quick tip, let's say that you name your parameters exactly this. You can name them whatever you want, but for the sake of this example, I'll be explaining. So what this is used for is, when you make a parameter that has the same name as a public variable or private variable, whatever you're using in your object, you want to say this name, so you're referring to, you're setting this class. You're setting the parameter in the class, not the parameter in the constructor, as whatever your string name was. And I think that's a pretty good explanation. So the next thing you want to do is create I only have 4 minutes and 20 seconds left of the video. So that's pretty much what it is. This name is going to assign the name this variable, which is this. So next, in creating the parameters, the methods, let's do this. Up here there's a source, right? And when you click that, you want to go down and click insert code, and it says generate. What you want to do is click getters and setters. So actually, yeah, let's do that. I know we're not going to be using getters and setters. We're not going to be using setters because we're already setting the name. So let's create character. Let's click character so that all of this is created. So generate. Now, public string. So whenever you make a method, you have to, if it's not going to return a value, string, int, another class, you have to put what it is returning. So public, meaning that other classes can access this. String, it's returning a string type, such as A, B, C, whatever. And then your method name, get name. So that's pretty much it. So the basic thing is all this. Now void, meaning it's not going to return something. So it's just a variable that does something like, okay, let's pick up a glass of water. Let's, I don't know, type some keys on the keyboard. Now when you return something, it's like saying, what is 2 plus 2? It's asking for something to be returned, so you say 4. 4 is what's being returned. So let's go to our class making, and let's create a new character. So how you do this is character, your type, let's say, I don't know, Benedict, equals new character, Benedict. I'm not gonna spell his last name since I don't know how to spell his last name. So his age, let's just say he's 30. You know, if he's older than that, well, he's looking mighty fine. And string country, some place that I don't know, that I don't recall. So now you have your country, and you have your name, and you have your age. And now to call this, all you need to do is, because it's returning something, let's say Benedict name is plus, I'll get onto that later, Benedict dot, and when you click dot, all these things expand. So this is pretty much what you want. This is mostly the classes that are supposedly really important. So you're going to click benedict.country, and when we run this, you get Benedict's name is someplace that I don't recall. Yes, I know that does not make sense, but for the sake of showing, that way you can remember what methods and what public and what making variables are. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Yes, I know it was a long tutorial, 13 minutes. So hopefully the next tutorial won't be as long. I'm not a fortune teller, so I do not know the future. So I hope you do subscribe, share, hit that thumbs up button, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Have a great day.